Ralph Northam has extended the stay-at-home order until, or the non-essential business closure for another 3 weeks until May 8th, I think the current rule is. And then there's this sort of stay-at-home order that extends right now until June 10th. Here's the problem. What government needs to be doing in this circumstance is balancing two competing problems. One is, what is the damage that is caused if people are just running around, with no masks, not social distancing, interacting as normal? What happens in that circumstance? Well, probably a lot of people get COVID-19, and there are some people who are really vulnerable, and it's a terrible disease, and those folks are in real danger. So we've got to balance that on one hand. On the other hand, what is the danger? What is the destruction that occurs to our country if we shut down our economy for extended periods of time? So, for example, what is the increased suicide risk of people who are stuck at home, who are staring at the walls, they're lonely, they're sad, they're depressed, and they can't get the social interaction that might be the key to preventing some kind of bad outcome? We don't know, right? We can't observe that. It's really a tough problem. On that same side of the equation, we have this question of what happens to our economy in the long run as we shut down key sectors of our industry? I was talking to a friend of mine who does agriculture today, and his question was, am I going to breed my cattle this year knowing that there might not be a market for beef next year? Or do I, how do you make those decisions? And the problem with a decision like that is, the gestation period of a cow is a year or 11 months. So you've got this delay from the time you make a decision until the effects of that decision are going forward. And there's a lot of sectors in our country that if you shut them down now, the effects of that shutdown will go on for another several years. And so we have to be really concerned about that. And so that's the struggle that the government is going through right now. And it's going through it in an environment in which it's very difficult to balance our civil liberties, our right to worship and speak and associate freely, with our responsibility to keep our fellow citizens safe. And here's the problem. In too many places, we are going in the direction of basically tyranny, right? Of demanding that people give up their right to worship and assemble and speak and all of those things in favor of some government rule on that. And there's starting to be a backlash about it. Yesterday in Michigan, we saw a peaceful protest where people were driving around the Michigan Capitol, honking their horns and with signs and everything. And that's a big deal. We need to care about that. There's a possibility, I think there's actually something like that brewing in Virginia right now. There's some people who are trying to get some of those peaceful protests going. And I think that they're right in the essence of that question is, does government have the right to take away my civil rights, civil liberties, for the sake of my own safety? And that's an important question, and that's why the Constitution is written the way it is. So I'm aware of the balancing act there. I think we need to be careful about it, and I'm deeply concerned about these long-term shutdowns that are done by government fiat. It just feels like tyranny to me, and I'm worried about that. As a civil libertarian, as somebody who believes in individual liberty, I'm deeply worried about that, and I think you should be too.